Welcome to Equal Ground Headlines. I am Samuel B. Williams, bringing you balanced coverage on our top stories of the day. If you appreciate journalism that explains, not inflames, hit like and subscribe to Equal Ground Headlines. On the morning of May 17th, 2025, Palm Springs woke to a terrifying sound. At 10:52 a.m., a violent explosion ripped through a quiet block near East Tackett's Canyonway. A car bomb detonated outside the American Reproductive Center's Fertility clinic. The blast shattered windows, blew debris across the street, and sent smoke billowing high above the desert skyline. Witnesses described the sound as deafening, like a sonic boom followed by the terrifying jolt of something very wrong. First responders rushed to the scene within minutes. Firefighters battled the flames engulfing the vehicle. Police cordoned off the street. Medical teams tended to the wounded. 5 injured, 1 confirmed dead at the scene. The victim's identity has not yet been released. It is still unclear whether they were a passerby, a patient, or someone connected to the vehicle. What is clear is that this was not an accident. Ushers quickly labeled it a deliberate act of terror. Palm Springs Police Chief Andy Mills addressed reporters just hours after the explosion. With urgency in his voice, he called the bombing an intentional act. Investigators found components of an improvised explosive device, ED, inside the burned-out car. The FBI and ATF were immediately called in to assist. By noon, federal agents were combing the blast site with bomb-sniffing dogs, drones, and forensic kits. Every scrap of metal, every melted piece of plastic might hold a clue. What made this target especially chilling was its nature. This wasn't a government office or a crowded tourist site. It was a reproductive health clinic, a place where families seek help to conceive, to begin life. The American Reproductive Center's facility in Palm Springs is well known for in vitro fertilization services. On this day, it was closed for regular operations. That may have saved many lives, but it raises questions about the bomber's intent. Dr. Maher Abdallah, the clinic's founder, confirmed in a public statement that while officers sustained damage, the IVF lab and all embryos were untouched. The lab is located deeper inside the facility, sealed and temperature-controlled. No staff were injured, but the emotional toll was severe. Many employees watched from nearby, fearing the worst. One nurse said, "I thought my co-workers were gone. I ran toward the smoke. I didn't care if it was safe." The explosion has shaken the community. Palm Springs, often seen as a serene desert haven, has rarely witnessed violence on this scale. City officials say the attack appears to be isolated, but nothing is being ruled out. Mayor Ron DeHarte condemned the bombing as a cowardly act and pledged that those responsible will be brought to justice. He urged residents to stay calm, to support one another, and to report anything suspicious. The federal investigation is still in its early stages. Sources close to the case say the vehicle used in the bombing may have been stolen, and surveillance footage from nearby businesses is being reviewed for leads. No group has yet claimed responsibility. But authorities are considering all possible motives, including anti-reproductive healthcare extremism. In recent years, some fertility and women's health centers have faced threats across the country. If this was ideologically motivated, it would mark one of the most significant attacks on a fertility clinic in recent memory. Officials say hate crime units and counterterrorism specialists are assisting in the background. Meanwhile, trauma support services have been activated in Palm Springs. The city is offering counseling to residents, patients, and staff impacted by the blast. Vigils are being planned. A memorial will soon mark the location. Among those mourning is Olivia Carter, a former patient of the clinic. She says her daughter, now 4 years old, was born thanks to IVF there. That clinic gave me a family, she said through tears. This attack feels personal. The psychological impact on fertility patients, many of whom face long emotional journeys, is difficult to measure. Some were scheduled for appointments next week. Others are now questioning whether it's safe to return. But Dr. Abdallah was clear in his statement. The clinic will reopen. Not out of defiance, he said, but out of duty. Families depend on us, he wrote. We will not allow fear to silence life. Omnina Messiah, what Chati did it Rabianad, a Syrian's life. This tragedy also raises urgent questions about security at medical facilities. Unlike hospitals, fertility clinics are rarely protected with high security measures. But that may change in the wake of this event. State authorities, including Governor Gavin Newsom, have promised additional support. The governor's office said in a statement that California will use every tool to investigate this attack and support the Palm Springs community. Fertility has already been increased at other American reproductive centers locations in Southern California. Patients at facilities in Riverside and Orange County were advised of new protocols and asked to report anything suspicious online. Reactions have been swift and divided. Some users speculated about motives. Others spread unverified claims. But amid the noise, one sentiment stood out: sorrow for the lives affected and a call for calm. At this point, authorities are urging the public to avoid assumptions. They ask that any video, photos, or eyewitness accounts be shared directly with law enforcement, not social media. A dedicated tip line has been established by the FBI, and local police have requested that nearby homes and businesses review their security footage from between 9:30 and 11 a.m. on May 17. The investigation is expected to be long and complex. Officials have indicated that forensic evidence recovered at the scene could take days or weeks to analyze fully. They caution patience, but they are confident answers will come. For now, Palm Springs mourns a life lost. It reflects on an act of terror that shattered peace in an unexpected place. And it begins the slow process of healing, investigation, and resilience. Because when violence strikes close to home, it leaves scars. but it also strengthens resolve. Resolve to protect, to rebuild, and to stand together. This has been Think Cosmos, bringing you clear, calm, and factual coverage of the Palm Springs Fertility Clinic bombing. If you'd like to support victims of the attack or stay informed, visit the Palm Springs City website or your local news outlets for verified updates. What compels someone to strike a place of hope and life? And more importantly, what can we do as a society to make sure it never happens again?